Genesis. And we'll be reading from 3 different chapters. What we do today is go through the life of Jacob, some instances of his life. Genesis chapter 28, verses 10 to 22, that's the first reading. Genesis 28, verses 10 to 22. Jacob left Beersheba and went towards Haran. And he came to a certain place and stayed there that night, because the sun had set. Taking one of the stones of that place, he put it under his head and lay down in the place to sleep. And he dreamt, and behold, there was a ladder set up on earth, and the top of it reached to heaven. And behold, the angels of God were ascending and descending on it. And behold, the Lord stood above it, and said, I am the Lord, the God of Abraham, your father, and the God of Isaac. The land on which you lie, I will give to you and to your offspring. Your offspring shall be like the dust of the earth, and you shall spread abroad to the west, and to the east, and to the north, and to the south. And in you and your offspring shall all the families of the earth be blessed. Behold, I am with you, and will keep you wherever you go, and will bring you back to this land. For I will not leave you until I have done what I have promised you. Then Jacob awoke from his sleep, and said, Surely the Lord is in this place, and I did not know it. And he was afraid, and said, How awesome is this place! This is none other than the house of God, and this is the gate of heaven. So early in the morning Jacob took the stone that he had put under his head, and set it up for a pillar, and poured oil on top of it. He called the name of the place Bethel, but the name of the city was Luz at the first. Then Jacob made a vow, saying, If God will be with me, and will keep me in the way that I go, and will give me bread to eat and clothing to wear, so that I come again to my father's house in peace, then the Lord shall be my God. And this stone which I have set up for a pillar shall be God's house. And of all that you give me, I will give a full tenth to you. The next is from chapter 32, Genesis chapter 32, verses 22 to 30. Genesis chapter 32, verses 22 to 30. Jacob wrestles with God. The same night he arose and took his 2 wives, his 2 female servants, and his 11 children, and crossed the ford of Jabbok. He took them and sent them across the stream, and everything else that he had. And Jacob was left alone, and a man wrestled with him until the breaking of the day. When the man saw that he did not prevail against Jacob, he touched his hip socket, and Jacob's hip was put out of joint as he wrestled with him. Then he said, Let me go, for the day has broken. But Jacob said, I will not let you go unless you bless me. And he said to him, What is your name? And he said, Jacob. Then he said, Your name shall no longer be called Jacob, but Israel. For you have striven with God and with men, and have prevailed. Then Jacob asked him, Please tell me your name. But he said, Why is it that you ask my name? And there he blessed him. So Jacob called the name of that place Peniel, saying, For I have seen God face to face, and yet my life has been delivered. And the last reading from chapter 35, verses 9 to 15. Genesis chapter 35, verses 9 to 15. God appeared to Jacob again when he came from Paddan Aram, and blessed him. And God said to him, Your name is Jacob. No longer shall your name be called Jacob, but Israel shall be your name. So he called his name Israel. And God said to him, I am God Almighty. Be fruitful and multiply. A nation and a company of nations shall come from you, and kings shall come from your own body. The land that I gave to Abraham and Isaac, I will give to you, and I will give the land to your offsprings after you. Then God went out from him in the place where he had spoken with him, and Jacob set up a pillar in the place where he had spoken with him, a pillar of stone. He poured out a drink offering on it and poured oil on it. So Jacob called the name of the place where God had spoken with him, Bethel. The character of Jacob has been a character that's a lot talked about in the Bible and by a lot of commentators, and there are stories that we are very, very familiar with. And as we walk through this life and see what God has revealed, God has for each one of us, certain points from certain instances of his life, these are the three readings that I would like each one of us to keep in the back of our minds. The dream that he gets, where the ladder reaches heaven, the foothold on earth and the ladder reaches heaven. The moment where he wrestles with God and he prevails. And third, where God reinstates everything that he has promised to Jacob. The beginning, actually, this whole story of Jacob starts from Genesis 25, where Isaac marries Rebekah at an age of 40. And there's a 20 period of barrenness. Rebekah does not bear a child or bear any children during that time. And after 20 years, when Isaac is 60, the Bible says that Rebekah had twins, and Esau and Jacob were in her stomach, but apparently these two babies were struggling within the stomach. And she goes and inquires of God why they struggle within her womb. And God mentions that there are two nations in her womb, and two nations will come forth. But the older will serve the younger. And when it's time for Rebekah to give birth, then that's when Esau comes out, and Esau is the heavy one, and he's the red. And Jacob comes out later, the second catching his heel. That's where he gets his name from the heel catcher. One of the things that I would like to keep in the back of the mind is things of promise. All of these require pruning and sanctification. The question I always ask is, couldn't Rebekah have a child earlier? And of course she could. But God allowed her to wait for 20 years because children of promise usually require those times of pruning. And when God puts you through this barrenness, it's always that God's sanctifying you for a bigger purpose that He has for us. We go on and we see that the whole story of selling of the birthright. And here, Jacob grows up to be a man of the tents, a quiet person, whereas Esau, he grows up to be a hunter, a skilled hunter. And within the family, now you see a favoritism that's coming up. You see Isaac, who loves Jacob more because he's a man of the field and he likes to eat the game meat. Whereas Rebekah, she loves Esau more. She loves Jacob more. And what happens here is Esau comes back from the field, hunting, and he's tired. And Jacob is in the tent making the red pottage, the red lentil stew. And he's hungry, he's dying. And the Bible says he's so hungry that he says that he's really dying. And he asks his brother for a meal, for a bowl of soup. His brother, Jacob, crafty as he is, as we read that he looks at this as an opportunity to grab his birthright. He says, okay, I will give you a bowl of soup if you sell me your birthright. Esau at that moment, at the time that he's hungry, his body is tired, he feels that he's about to die, he wonders, he says, what benefit is a birthright to me if I'm dead? And he says, okay, I'll give you my birthright. Jacob asked him to swear and say, you swear and tell me that you will sell it to me. Esau swears and says, okay, you have my birthright. And the soup is given. But what's this birthright? I mean, I wonder whether we understand the gravity of this term. In an age that we live in right now, we do not have a concept of birthright where the understanding probably what they had at that given point in time. Commentators, they let us know that a birthright is a rightful position for the firstborn male child, for the firstborn son of the family, and it's a position of authority. So least the father leave for a given period of time or in his death, the person with the birthright would take the authoritative position to then decide in terms of the family. It's not only a position of authority, but in terms of inheritance, in terms of material, the person with the birthright would get a double portion, always. But there was not only a material element to it, nor an authoritative element to it, there was a spiritual element to it. Because throughout Scripture, you see God using the person who has been assigned the birthright as a person to prophesy, either to the family, the clan, or the bigger community. And this is something and that's why the birthright was so important. It's very different from the blessing. The birthright and the blessing are two distinct things. And it was so important because even when you look at the lineage of Jesus, it came from the person who held the birthright. And it's not always the person of blood, the descendants of blood that are called birthrights. We are called the children of Abraham. We might not be the descendants of flesh, but we are called the children of Abraham. Isaac was preferred to Ishmael, Jacob to Esau, David to his brothers, and Solomon. None of these were the firstborn, but they were preferred and they were given the birthright. In verses 32, chapter 25, we see a statement that Esau makes that's so terrifying. He says, I am about to die. Of what use is this birthright to me? Spurgeon tells a story of Luther that, I'll probably read it verbatim. Luther was told of a nobleman who above all things occupied himself with amassing money and was buried in darkness, that he gave no heed to the word of God, and even said to one who pleaded with him, Sir, the gospel pays no interest to me. Have you no grain? Interposed Luther. Then he told this fable. A lion making a great feast invited all the beasts, and with them some swine. When all manner of dainties were set before the guests, the swine asked, Have you no grain? Even so, continued Luther, even so it is in these days with carnal men. We preachers set before them the most dainty and costly dishes, such as everlasting salvation, the remission of sins, and God's grace. But they, like swine, turn up their snouts and ask for money. Offer a cow a nutmeg, and she will reject it for old hay. What he's trying to say is we need to understand what's important. We need to understand what's so vital in our lives. Our calling, the will of God, the purpose of God in our life is so important. And we have to understand the depth of it. Not only understand that the purpose of God is fulfilling His will, but what implications does it have in your life. I'm not sure whether Esau really understood what the birthright meant to him or what it signified. He thought to him that death meant the end of his birthright, but it was much, much more. It was through which the Savior would be born, the lineage. But he failed to see it. And this is where sometimes we fail to see the purposes of God in our life, the will of God in our life. And God has called us to a specific purpose, through a specific season. And we fail, we look at the immediate, we look at the troubles that we go through, and we qualify that as something that we need to be free from. And we fail to see the bigger, overarching purpose that God has put us to. And one of the things that we have to do is we cannot hold the will of God or the purposes of God on our lives cheaper than life. They are more expensive. They mean much more. The implications are much wider than we know. And we have to it's an imperative blessing. And we have to be careful that we understand it correctly and we are led by the Spirit to understand it correctly. One of the things that happens when we consider, even with Esau and Jacob, that we categorize the callings and the purposes of God in our life. We somehow categorize the preachers, the missionaries, and the people who have given up their entire life for the will of God as the holy group. And us as lay people who come to church as people who need not be that holy. But Jesus, in all of this, in whatever He teaches us, lets us know that we need to love our God with all of our heart, all of our mind, all of our soul, and all of our strength. And that was not meant only for the high priest. It was not meant only for His disciples or apostles. Everyone who are regenerated. The moment we are regenerated, the moment God Himself regenerates us, the great physician Himself heals us, we are into full-time ministry. Whether you are a preacher, whether you are a missionary, or whether you are at your workplace, you are into full-time ministry. And that's where the effects of categorizing is not that there is less importance, that we ought to serve and we ought to help the people who have given up their lives for God. Of course we do. But that's not the point. The point is when we categorize people and we put these people in the categories, you easily losing yourself or losing ourselves from the holiness that we ought to follow or ought to pursue. And God has asked us to be holy. God has asked us to follow His will. And that's for each and every one of us, not only for preachers and missionaries. You fast forward around 4,000 years ahead in time, and we see Jesus in the desert. And it's somewhat like there's a somewhat parallel picture drawn. Here, Jacob is cooking up a meal, and Esau, being the firstborn, has the birthright. And he's hungry, he's tired, he feels he's about to die because of his hunger, and he sells his birthright for a bowl of soup. And we see Jesus now 4,000 years ago, he's in the desert fasting for 40 days. And Satan comes after him and says, "Are you hungry? Here are some stones. You are the Son of God, aren't you? Why don't you take these stones and turn them into bread? Relieve yourself of hunger. Relieve yourself of hunger." And we see Jesus understanding His purpose, understanding His mission, understanding what He was here for. And He pushes Satan back with the verse from Deuteronomy. And how I wish that verse from Deuteronomy was written much, much earlier than Deuteronomy, from the time of Esau and Jacob. But no, it came much later. And the verse in Deuteronomy said, "And He humbled you and let you hunger. He let you hunger and fed you with manna, which you did not know, nor did your fathers know, that He might make you known that man does not live by bread alone, but man lives by every word that comes from the mouth of God." And Jesus echoed the same. He said, "Man shall not live on bread alone, but on every word that comes from the mouth of God." There are times in our life when we are down, we are hungry, we are barren. There are times in our life where we cannot take that step ahead. And I'm so convinced that the words Jesus spoke were words that He spoke to Himself rather than to Satan, to let him know that man at this point does not live on bread alone, but on the things, but every word that proceeds the mouth of God. The imaginary usually that we have of Jesus in the desert and facing the temptations is He's standing tall in front of Satan. I usually have a very different imagery. I have the imagery of Him on the floor, dust on His face, struggling, and Satan comes and tempts Him. He's hungry. You think about that. That's a hot place to be in. 40 days, no food, no water. And Satan comes and tempts Him and says, there's a way out. You're hungry for 40 days. You probably must be praying for food for 40 days, haven't you? That's what you'll be missing for 40 days. But Jesus rebuked him. He says, no. He spoke to Himself, and I'm so convinced about that. And the only reason Jesus could focus on what was the will of God is because probably in this 40 days, that's where His prayer was. He said, "Lord, what is your will for my life? What's your purpose for my life? And how do I fulfill your purpose? And God must have strength and saying, I'm going to feed you. He relied on that rather than taking an immediate response or an immediate option that was provided by Satan. Time goes by, and there's a famine in the land, and the whole family, including Isaac, Rebekah, and the sons, moved to another land. And Ahimelech, the king of Philistine, is there. And they prosper in the land. They have many fields, they have many flocks, and they dig many wells. Apparently, they again grow, and they have to leave. And Isaac, after a given point in time, thinks he's past his years, and he wants to bless. Sorry. And he wants to bless his children. Now, if we go back to the time of their birth, it was promised that Jacob would lead, and Esau would serve Jacob. It said that the older would serve the younger. But when we see the whole stealing of the blessing, and I think all of us are familiar with that story, we see Isaac doing something very different. He goes ahead and asks Esau, he said, please go back, go in the fields and get a game meal and prepare it the way I like it so I can eat and be fulfilled and I can bless you. That blessing was meant for Jacob. He knew about it. He should have taken care of it. But he calls Esau in. He said, I want to bless you. Whereas we see Rebekah in a very different state. And her intentions probably might be right in letting Jacob get the blessing. But the motivations are entirely wrong. Because she's doing out of fondness that she has for Jacob. And we have 3 points that we can look at here. One is aiming at the wrong object, and that's what Isaac did. Isaac ran away from the will of God in his life. The will of God in his life was foretold, the revealed will, that Jacob would be the leader and Esau would serve Jacob. And if he only understood that and kept it to his heart, he would call in Jacob first for a blessing. But no, he called Esau in for a blessing. And this incident is a humble reminder that if we do not follow the will of God, what consequences come later. I don't even think Isaac understood as a father what he was about to do. But by him not surrendering the will of God, you cannot fight the will of God. God will come through nonetheless. If he has ordained a particular thing, it will come through. And Isaac sees that whatever his plans were, whatever intention Isaac did that with, God's plans prevailed in the end. Whether it was through a cunning deceit or whether it was through cheating, Jacob gets the blessings. But the implications of that were much more. As a father, as of people in the family, I think so. This is so important that we do not run away from tough choices. And Jacob, probably, Esau being the one that's most loved by Isaac, it must have been a much more tougher choice for Isaac to call in Jacob in. But these are the tough decisions as a family that we ought to have taken. And God's will for our life are never the easy decisions. He calls us to take the tough decisions. He calls us so that His will is purposed and fulfilled in our lives, not the easy way out. The second point is aiming at the right object but with the wrong means. Rebekah, she had the right object in mind, but she had the sinful means. Her intention was right, was to bless Jacob, but the means by which she wanted to do it was because of the fondness that she had for Jacob. In 2 Timothy 4:7, Paul reminds us, he says, I have fought the good fight. I have finished the race, I have kept the faith. Paul reminds us that being persistent is important, and being persistent consistently is important. And that's the only way we can finish the race. The journey is as important as the goal. In our Christian, or rather just in life, we usually look at a journey as an end to a goal. And we always say, God's taking me to this time so that He will provide something, or He's going to show me probably a new calling and a new place that I'm going to be in. And we always look at a journey as an end to a goal. But God, I believe, looks at it very differently. He's convinced that the journey itself is a goal. And we see Paul over here repeating that. He says, I want you to finish the race. I want you to keep your eyes on the prize and finish the race, not come on the podium. And the only way by you finishing the race is by being persistent, by training hard, by seeing to it that the journey that you take to finish the race is completed. Paul never, or Jesus never wants you to come first. He wants you to finish the race the best each one of us can. The third thing is a weak character. We see Jacob. And Jacob, when Rachel approaches Jacob to cheat his father, to deceive his father, we see that Jacob stands back and he says, I'm not going to do this. I'm sorry, this is wrong. But Rebecca comes and says, no, let the curse be on me. What bothers you? And Jacob, at that moment, should have resented. But as a person of a weak character, we see that he gives way. And he wanted the comfort of the blessings, and he wanted the control through which he could derive what would happen in this life. So he would get both the birthright, and now he would get the blessings. We see later on that Isaac does bless Jacob with the blessings, and he does give the opposite of the blessings to Esau, and Esau is fuming with anger, and he wants to kill Jacob. And Rebecca asked Isaac to move to her brother's place, Laban, and he moves out of the house, and on his journey to Laban, he's alone and he's in the field, and that's where he gets the dream that we read in Genesis 28. And there's a poem that very well describes this dream of the ladder and the understanding. It brings a very different perspective, and this poem is by Francis Thompson. Francis Thompson has a very, very strange life. He was a homeless person, he was an opium addict, but he was a fantastic poet. And as he slept beside the river Thames and the Charing Cross Junction, he would take whatever papers that were available to him and jot down poems on that and send it to the editor or the local newspaper in order for it to publish. And they were really surprised by the talent this person had. The name of the poem is In No Strange Land, and this is how it goes. O world invisible, we view thee. O world intangible, we touch thee. O world unknowable, we know thee. In our principle, we clutch thee. Does the fish soar to find the ocean? The eagle plunge to find the air? That we ask of the stars in motion, if they have rumors of thee there. Not where the wheeling system darkens, and a benulled concealed soars, the drift of pinions would be hearken, beats at our own clay-shuttered doors. The angels keep their ancient places, turn but a stone and start a wing. This ye, this your estranged faces, that miss the many splendid things. But when so sad thou canst not sadder, cry, and upon thy sore loss shall shine the traffic of Jacob's ladder, pitched betwixt heaven and Charing Cross. Yea, in the night my soul, my daughter, cry clinging to heaven by the hems, and lo, Christ walking on the water, not of Gennesaret, but Thames. Jacob's life was full of control. God showed him through this dream that he is still in control. By the ladder of one end on the earth and the other one in heaven, and the angels descending and ascending from it, he let them know that he still is in control, and the interactions between heaven and earth exist even though he does not see it. And this was one of the times where Jacob and each one in our lives probably require these kind of dreams and vision to let us know that God is still in control. That even though the world around us is invisible, even though things around us are intangible, unknowable, or incomprehensible, that God is still in control. That there is God in the spiritual dominion taking care of us and taking care of things. And this is exactly what he wanted to show Jacob. But also, he says, why do you question? Then why do you question God as if he is a distant person? Why do you ask for the fish when he sows for the ocean, when the eagles or the stars, whether they roam on them? Why do you ask all these things as a distant person? Because God is so near. He is there. And all of us, at every point in our life, and every season in our life, require these kind of things. If we see where God opens up our eyes, and we see not with, but through our eyes, through the conscious that God has renewed within us, and we see His hand, we see His purpose, His providence in our life, and never forget that we see all of His, how He supports us in times of this distress. And Jacob, as he laid on the stone, you think about this. Jacob was a man with tents. He was a person who usually stayed indoors, probably in the comfort of his tent, a good pillow, a good tent above his head. But here now he's in open air. There's no pillow. He's sleeping on stones. All that he has above him are the stars in the sky. No protection around him. Nothing. Probably there could be wild beasts. And in this time, God comes to him and says, there are things out of your imagination and view that I am still working at, and I am protecting you, and I am going to be with you. And this is His promise to each one of us. And we go on from there, and we see that he finally reaches Laban's place, and he serves Laban for 14 years, probably 20 years. 7 years for Rachel, but he gets deceived, and he gets Leah as his first wife, and then he serves Laban another 7 years for Rachel. And in all of this time, the more you read of Jacob, you see a transformation in him after God gives him the dream. And no longer now Jacob is more of the deceiver kind, and rather even when he was cheated with the rams and the goats, and Laban now cheated him and took away the male goats that were spotted and speckled and the black goats, he did not crib about it. He just went about doing diligently what God has asked him to do. And God blessed that. And we see even commentators come up and say, this is a huge transformation that happened to Jacob. And Jacob learns. But there's one thing that Jacob still has not let go, and that is control. And he wants still to have control over his life. And we see that even by putting the speckled trees and the speckled trees, so that the cattle would mate and give rise to speckled cattle, so that would be a part of his lot. He comes to a point where now he's going to meet Esau, his brother. He leaves Laban, he's wealthy, he's rich, God blesses him there, and he's left Laban, now he's going to meet Esau. And he's worried, because his entire life must have flashed in front of him. The stealing of the birthright, the stealing of the blessing, and Esau so upset with him that he wants to kill him. And now he's going back to his brother. He's going to meet his brother face to face. And he trembles. He divides his family into batches. He puts the gifts that he has for his brother up front in order to soothe him. And he sends all of those things, and he lets them cross the Jabbok, and he stays behind. And when he stays behind, God meets him there. And here's where we hear the story of him wrestling with God. And this is just so fascinating. And there are three, again, important points that we can take from here. And the first thing is God wrestles with man until he has prevailed with him. God's ultimate desire for each one of us is to bless us. That's his ultimate desire. This is the foundation of all God's dealing with us. And he wants to bless us. But he cannot and he will not bless us until he has prevailed with us. Until he has overpowered us. And the reason why he has to overpower us is because we have not given him entire control of our lives. And he needs that for him to bless us. And we see that, that's the first point, that he prevails with Jacob. And it's such a fascinating scene. If you think about it, a person, a God that's omnipotent, all-powerful, he's come down in human form and he's wrestling with a mortal. And it's such a good imaginary of our heart that in all of these years of God regenerating us, we still haven't entirely surrendered our heart to him. We still haven't entirely surrendered our will to him, our purposes to him. They are still blemished. And God continuously wrestling with our heart, continuously wrestling with our spirit in order for that surrender, that sanctification to happen till the day of his coming. You know, in the men's Bible study that we meet every second Saturday, at one of those meetings we had a beautiful illustration from Matthew 11, 28 to 30, where Jesus says, "Come to me, all you who are weary and burdened, and I will give you rest. Take my yoke upon you and lean through it, for I am gentle and humble in heart, and you will find rest for your souls. For my yoke is easy and my burden is light." And the imagery that we got there is the yoke that Jesus talks about. It's a yoke for two beasts. One is us, and Jesus always walks with us. But that's not only it. The second thing is the yoke is custom made for you. Because there's no other yoke like yours. God knows our boundaries. He knows how much we can take. And He builds that yoke for each one of us. But not only that, but He walks with you. And that's where the struggling comes forth. He does not need to strive with man, does he? Think about it. He does not need to strive with man. No minister in this country, at whatever positions they are in, need to strive with us to get something done. Do they? They instruct us. Our managers instruct us. Our heads of departments instruct us. Our parent instructs us. And we ought to do it. But you see, God as a father acting very differently, striving with us to get things done. And we are not adding anything to Him by saying, yes, we don't benefit Him in any way. He says, then if heaven has to leave me, I'll still be God. And He's doing it for our sake. His end goal is to bless us. He does it for our sake. When man is subdued by God, he can prevail with God. When man is subdued by God, he can prevail with God. It's surprising to see the divine conqueror, the omnipotent God says, let me go, for it's daybreak. But again, even though that sounds strange, in a sense it might not be strange, because prevailing with God, even though it's almost impossible, the Bible is very careful where it places it. And there is no prevailing until resistance is destroyed. There is no prevailing with God until all of our resistance is destroyed. That's so important. Do we resist God? And until we resist God, that prevailing will continue. And we prevail only when we cling to Him in trustful prayer. We prevail only when we cling to Him in trustful prayer. Having prevailed with God, then man prevails with all. Now, prevailing with God does not mean that we have God at our dispense, that we can say, like a genie in the bottle, do this, Lord, do that. No. It means that His blessings are available for us. He has secured His blessings for us, for His journey. It does not always mean deliverance. It does not always mean deliverance from your situation, but many a times means simple power to endure. And endure cheerfully, enrichingly, and in some way to prevail over our trials. In prevailing with God, we prevail over even our troubled hearts. And we prevail also over our enemies. One of the imagery that has always come to my mind is we find that we are weak when we are down crying in front of God. If Jesus in the Garden of Gethsemane, if people around him, people who did not know him, seen him in that state, crying, asking for the cup to be taken away from him, what would they think? This guy is gone. That's it. He's lost it. And that's the end of his life. I mean, he cannot take it any longer. But a few hours later, we see between he and his disciples who stood in the will of God and did it now. When we are down at the feet of God, we stand tall before Him. We are in His purpose. It's not weakness to cry in front of God on your knees. It's not weakness, it's strength. It's at that point you tell God that I am nothing. I am nothing, but you are everything. You lead me. I have no control over my life. That you are the one who has entire control of my life. And that's how Jacob's life ends. It ends with God, by him giving God entire control. Even the wrestling with God is when he realizes the one thing that he had not given up is control, and he gives it up. And eventually God has all that he has asked of Jacob. And I believe God's speaking to us today in that same way, especially in having control. That is a beautiful poem that is written by an anonymous author. And it goes like this: when God wants to drill a man, and trill a man, and skill a man, when God wants to mold a man to play the noblest part, when he yearns with all his heart to create so great and bold a man, that all the world shall be amazed, watch his methods, watch his ways, how he ruthlessly perfects whom he royally elects, how he hammers him and hurts him and with mighty blows converts him, in trials shapes of clay which only God understands, while his tortured heart is crying and he lifts beseeching hands, how he bends but he never breaks, when his good he undertakes, how he uses whom he chooses, and which every word, every purpose fuses him, by every act induces him to try his splendor out. God knows what he is about. And that's the whole story. That God puts us through fire in order so that we might be vindicated and come out. You ever imagined in the story of Job that God actually put his nose on the line for Job? That God actually betted for Job against what Satan brought, what Satan brought against him? He betted for him. And Job in turn, by fulfilling the purpose and the will of God in his life, then vindicated God. Shall we pray? Heavenly Father, we have long gone having all the control that we require in our lives. But we come to you today, humbly, reopening those doors, Lord, that we have willfully locked, rolling the stones, Lord, from our hearts that we have closed. Father, would you stir up the waters in our hearts that have not been touched? We get down to the thrones of our lives, each and every one of them. And we ask you to take complete control. Lord, would you lead us? Would you open up our eyes? And would you show us that you are near, that you are still in complete control? And Lord, as we walk in this path, you continue in your mercy and your grace to wrestle with our hearts, to make them pure as you would see them. In your name, Jesus, we make this prayer.